The brand, really, when it comes down to it, is about adventure. It's always been that. The 1960s classics, when they were built in the period, were used by guys that were going out on camping trips, fishing trips, think all different sorts of trips. I did the 1,000-mile off-road race to Cabo, and then also drove the sister of that car around New York in the rain. Bruce Meyers created Old Red, which was the first fiberglass dune buggy, and then used it to set the four-wheel Baja record. Really doesn't look like something that should be able to perform that way. We're keeping the heritage that Bruce set alive by keeping these cars in Baja, running as hard as possible and as fast as possible, while also using them in Manhattan on FDR. It's a happy car to whoever is looking at it. It totally exists as a piece of amazing democratic design. The smiles that the car generates, both from the people in it as well as the people on the side of the road, are exactly the same. Brand is about creating, and there's no better place to put something that's about creation and creativity than in an art gallery.
A really big thing for us at Morton St is letting the curation of the show really encompass the sphere around whatever this sort of specific object is that we're focusing on. But we try and choose the stuff that's just really right for that sort of like intense, like very specific moment in time, this thing happened. When we started talking to Meyers Manx, it was like, sure, no brainer, easiest source material in the world, and the show sort of came up around it.
I want to thank Morton St partners, sincerely, for such an incredible event. You all really captured the zeitgeist of the 1960s in this spectacular space and exhibit.
Manx is like a really cool story in the way it's sort of, somebody had to have made it at some point because it's just sort of what the moment demanded. You know, I think the idea of nostalgia or memory is really important to sort of any collecting sphere, whether that is classic cars, like they take you to a certain time and place. And that's something we think is really valuable about cars as collected objects, is that they're these artifacts of a cultural memory. And even if you don't know about them, you can tell like where this was made, generally what decade it was produced in, and the kind of person who drove it when it was new.
One of the incredible things about what Freeman Thomas has done with the design of the Meyers Manx 2.0 is channel Bruce's legacy and the creativity and sculptural and gestural quality of his designs into something for the 21st century. Today, there's a new generation of people that really want to get outside, and there's not a vehicle for them. And so I think that an electric Manx that gets you out of the city, or even out of the suburbs if you're there, and into nature, gets you out for a hike for the day to have fun, it's great. When we run these buggies in Baja or out on trails around Big Bear and things like that, the motors are quite loud, and we've done what we can to keep that under control so that it doesn't, bother people, essentially. However, with the electric car, you'll be able to hear every bird, every chipmunk, every animal running around, and that experience of being one with nature, that's really what we're going for. We want to immerse people in their environment and allow them to experience adventure in a sustainable way. I don't think any brand really has the same spirit of fun and kind of exuberance that the Manx has.
If you want to talk about cultural resonance on four wheels, there isn't really a tidier package than a Meyers Manx dune buggy.